The rain was coming down in sheets that night, cold, merciless and dark as the guilt that sometimes haunted his dreams. Adam Pierce gripped the steering wheel tightly, his old pickup's wipers struggling to clear the windshield as thunder rolled across the blackened sky. His dog, Ranger, a loyal German shepherd with eyes that saw more than most humans ever could, whimpered softly from the passenger seat. They were on their way home from the late shift at the diner where Adam worked, exhausted, drenched, and ready for a quiet night with his little girl asleep at home. But fate had other plans. As he turned onto the forest road leading to his cabin, Ranger's ears perked up. Then came the faintest sound, a cry. Not the sharp, frightened cry of a wild animal, but a human one. Adam hit the brakes hard, his heart racing as the truck skidded to a stop in the mud. He jumped out, rain soaking him instantly, and shouted into the storm, "Hello, anyone there?" The cry came again, weaker this time. Ranger bolted ahead, barking, his paws splashing through puddles. Adam followed, flashlight trembling in his hand, until the beam landed on something that made his stomach twist. A woman sprawled on the ground beside a wrecked patrol car, the red and blue lights faintly flickering through the fog. Blood mixed with rainwater beneath her, pooling like crimson ink on the asphalt. She was a police officer, and she was barely alive. Before we go deeper into this incredible story of courage, compassion, and redemption, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of doing what's right, even when no one's watching. It really helps stories like this reach more hearts like yours. Adam's first instinct was panic. He hadn't been around something like this since his wife died 3 years earlier in a car crash. Since then, he'd avoided hospitals, sirens, and anything that smelled like tragedy. But as he looked at the woman's pale face, blood-streaked, lips trembling, something inside him clicked. She needed help, and fast. He tore his flannel shirt and pressed it against her wound, whispering, "Hang in there, officer. You're gonna make it." Ranger stood guard beside them, growling at the shadows as if warning the night itself to stay back. The woman's name tag was barely visible, M. Reeves. Her breathing was shallow, her pulse faint. Adam tried calling 911, but there was no signal in this remote area. The storm had knocked out power lines earlier and the roads were barely passable. He looked toward his truck, then back at her. He had two choices: wait and risk losing her, or act. He chose the latter. With every ounce of strength he had, Adam lifted her from the muddy ground. Ranger barked and led the way as Adam staggered back to the truck, drenched and trembling. He laid the woman gently across the back seat, wrapped her in his old army blanket, and whispered, "You're gonna be okay, just hang in there." Then he hit the gas. The drive to town was a nightmare. Fallen branches, flooded roads, and a truck that coughed and stuttered at every turn. But he didn't stop. Ranger kept his nose pressed to the window, whining every time the woman's breathing faltered. Adam could barely see, but his focus was razor sharp. He'd lost one woman before. He wasn't about to lose another tonight. When they finally reached his cabin, the storm was too fierce to continue toward the hospital. He made the hard decision to bring her inside and do what he could until morning. He laid her on the couch near the fireplace, his hands shaking as he lit a fire, boiled water, and rummaged for the first aid kit. Years ago, his wife, a nurse, had taught him basic wound care. He never thought he'd use it again, but now, as he stitched her gash and cleaned the blood, her memory guided his hands. Hours passed. The woman drifted in and out of consciousness, whispering things, "Back up, ambush my partner," before slipping back into delirium. Adam didn't understand it all, but one word stood out: ambush. Whatever had happened wasn't an accident, and whoever did it might still be out there. Morning broke slowly, light cutting through the fog as the rain eased. Adam barely noticed he'd stayed awake all night watching over her. When she finally stirred, eyes fluttering open, she tried to sit up, but pain stopped her. Adam spoke softly, "Easy, you're safe." She blinked, disoriented. Who are you?" he simply said, "just a dad trying to help." Over the next few days, the woman, Officer Maria Reeves, began to recover. She learned that Adam lived alone with his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, after losing his wife. They didn't have much, just a small home, a loyal dog, and a lot of quiet pain. Maria could sense it in every word Adam didn't say. Yet in his eyes there was kindness, the kind that didn't expect anything in return. As her strength returned, fragments of her memory began piecing together. She'd been investigating a drug ring involving dirty cops. Her partner had betrayed her, leading her into an ambush that nearly killed her. The crash was no accident. They'd wanted her dead. She realized that if Adam hadn't found her, she would have bled out in the rain. But danger wasn't far behind. That same night, as Adam put Lily to bed, Ranger started growling at the window. Headlights flashed in the distance, too quiet, too calculated. Maria's instincts kicked in. "Adam," she whispered, "they found me." Without hesitation, Adam moved into action. He locked the doors, turned off the lights, and grabbed the old hunting rifle his father had left him. Ranger stayed close to Maria, alert and tense. Outside, two figures moved through the trees. Adam's pulse pounded. This wasn't a battle he wanted, but he wasn't letting anyone hurt his family or the woman he'd risked his life to save. The first man tried to kick open the door, but Ranger lunged with a ferocity that shook the night. The intruder screamed as the dog tackled him, giving Adam enough time to fire a warning shot. The second man fled, dragging his wounded partner into the woods. Silence fell again, broken only by the sound of rain dripping from the roof. Maria collapsed back against the wall, tears mixing with relief and pain. By dawn, Adam drove her to the nearest police station. She insisted he stay close. She trusted no one else. When the officers realized who she was, chaos erupted. She'd been missing for days, presumed dead. Her report exposed the corruption she'd uncovered, leading to the arrest of several officers, including her partner. Adam's testimony and evidence from the wrecked patrol car sealed the case. The story made headlines. Single father rescues missing cop, exposes police corruption. But Adam avoided the cameras. He didn't do it for glory, he did it because it was right. Still, when Maria was discharged from the hospital, she didn't go back to the city immediately. Instead, she drove to his cabin carrying a small box of gifts, one for Lily, one for Ranger, and one for Adam. Inside the box was a badge-shaped pendant and a note that read, "Some heroes don't wear uniforms. Thank you for saving my life and reminding me what humanity looks like." For weeks afterward, Maria visited often. She helped Lily with homework, shared coffee with Adam, and joined their morning walks with Ranger. The three of them, broken in their own ways, found quiet healing in each other's company. Adam, who had closed his heart after losing his wife, began to feel something stir again. Not romance, not yet, but hope. One evening, as the sun dipped below the trees, Maria stood by the porch and whispered, "You and Ranger saved me, Adam, but you also saved yourself. You just didn't know it yet." He smiled, a rare softness in his eyes. "Maybe we both did." The police department honored Adam and Ranger with medals of valor, a ceremony he tried to avoid but couldn't. When his name was called, he stood before the crowd, holding Lily's hand, his voice trembling as he said, "I'm not a hero. I'm just a father who did what anyone should do, care." The applause that followed wasn't just for bravery. It was for the simple, pure act of compassion that had changed two lives forever. Months passed and life slowly returned to normal, or as close to it as it could. The cabin, once filled with silence, now echoed with laughter again. Maria, though transferred to a safer post, made it a point to visit every weekend. She and Lily became inseparable, and Adam, well, he began to believe that maybe, just maybe, he could move forward without forgetting his past. But the memory of that stormy night, the moment he chose to stop, to care, to fight, stayed with him. It reminded him that sometimes, saving someone else becomes the very thing that saves you. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and share this video, and subscribe for more stories that remind us of the good that still exists in this world. Every act of kindness, big or small, matters more than we realize. And before you go, please comment below what you think true heroism means. Is it strength, sacrifice, or simply love in action? I'd love to read your thoughts. As the camera fades out on the final scene, Adam, Maria, Lily, and Ranger sitting on the porch, watching the sunset, one truth remains clear. Sometimes heroes don't wear badges, capes, or medals. Sometimes they're just single dads, broken souls, and loyal dogs who choose compassion when the world looks away. Because kindness is the bravest act of all.